We are recording. Thank you so much for showing up today. Those who are still on at the end of the Zoom are going to get an additional bonus point on the point system that we're doing for the prize at the end of this month, which I am so excited to be doing for you guys. Hang on, let me pause this recording. Feeling like I'm screaming over the movie. Okay, so quote for today is, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. And I'm going to challenge you guys today. And maybe, this isn't going to relate to you. So if you haven't hit a point like this in your business before, just know that you might, and that's okay. And if you have taken a step back in your business, I want you to know that that's okay. And I listened to this podcast. Actually, it was a 3-series podcast by Ashley Mayfield. If you have not listened to it yet, I highly recommend it. The first one is called Let People on Your Bus. The next one's Let People Off Your Bus. And then the other one is Let People Change Seats on Your Bus. And what I really learned, number one, is that because this is a leadership Zoom, I especially wanted to bring this up, that we need to be working with our newbies that we didn't even enroll, okay? And I just really want to emphasize that, because when we start thinking about, well, let me backtrack a little bit. What she was talking about is, we think as leaders that if we get our other leaders hyped up, our downlines are going to be excited, right? And I will totally admit that I had that belief before I listened to this podcast. I truly did. We do leadership Zooms for a reason. I hype you guys up for a reason. But it can start to feel hierarchy. It can start to feel like people don't fit in here. And what I want everyone to know, number one, that everyone is welcome on these Zooms once you're boxed for Ruby and above. It is a privilege to be here. Kudos. Pat yourself on the back for being here. You earned it. But you guys, I didn't realize that way of thinking wasn't proper. And so what she said was, actually, the excitement starts from the bottom. The cream rises to the top. And when you swim so far down to people that are, and you guys, maybe you only have 2 distributors on your team right now, but in a year and a half, you're going to be exactly where I am, if not farther, and you're going to have hundreds of people on your downline. Okay. So you're going to want to keep in mind these things that I'm telling you. And if you do have people on your downline right now, if there are people who you have not introduced yourself to on your downline, tisk on us. We got to make sure that everybody knows that we are here to help them, regardless of who enrolled them. We are their upline, right? If you see them on your downline reports, they are on your team. And some of the best people that I have found in this business to run with are people that I didn't even necessarily enroll, or even if I did enroll them, they were like so many levels down on my downline that they weren't even on my chart at the time, right? But that's where we start pulling people up. You're constantly going to be building, right? So I just wanted to give you guys that little 2 cents. It's totally unrelated pretty much to what we're talking about today. But just as a good leadership tip and reminder is, swim down, y'all. We cannot do this without everyone working together. And that's why I went live yesterday on the push page talking about how you're not in this alone, and reminding you that we are all in this together. When you look at your promotion, when you look at the boxes that need to be filled, when you look at the volume that needs to be pulled in, that's not just on you. And I'll say that as a leader, from personal experience, that has really detrimented my promotion sometimes, because I would look at my charts and think, okay, this is what I need to pull in. This is what I need to do. And it took the power, it took the excitement away from my team, because they felt like, well, she doesn't need me. Right? And just as much as I hate to say this, but everybody's replaceable, and I don't need you to build my paycheck. I can do that myself, and I fully take responsibility for my team and my own paycheck. I would never put that on you. At the same time, you do have a responsibility if you are aiming to be a diamond leader on this team. And I need to allow you, just like you need to allow your teams to step into those positions and to change seats on your bus and to allow people to take a step back if they need to take a step back and allow people to run if they're ready to run. You know what I'm saying? Meeting people wherever they are. And I've really had to learn through this business not to pull teeth to get people to work. And I will not convince you to stay here. Point blank, period. I will never convince someone to stay here. I will never convince you to work your business, because that has to come from your heart. That has to come from you purely wanting this so damn bad that you will do anything that it takes to get there, because your family is worth it, because you are worth it, right? That can't come from me. So just a little bit of a reminder, but I just want to preface this as always, because y'all know I'm red through and through. I even took the color personality test the other day, like, oh, maybe my color's changed. Like, I've been in 3 years, like, who knows? I haven't taken it in so long. No, literally it was like 78% red, and it didn't even give me the other colors for the other 30%. So I'm real red, y'all. But I might offend you today, and I want you to know, just as a reminder, that that's okay. And I'm giving you permission just as much as I give myself permission to ruffle some feathers in this business. And sometimes that's what it takes, is you feeling something on a Zoom, you feeling the shoe fitting in a given situation of what I'm talking about, because I'm never directing something at someone individually. So if you ever relate to something that I am talking about, that is something that is in your heart pulling you, and you need to listen. And it's something that you need to look at, and it's something that you need to recognize as a growth area and just work on it, right? That's why we're all here, is to learn. And I will not sit here and pretend like I'm a perfect leader, you guys, ever. Like, you will never hear me say that I do not have room to grow. I am growing every single day. I screw up. And like I said, I'm giving you permission just as much as I'm giving myself permission to ruffle feathers, to make mistakes, and to fail forward. But I am not your mom. And I am not, even in my normal life, you guys, with my friends, Nat will tell you, like Kayla will tell you, I don't want to say I don't have a filter, because I definitely do, but I am very blunt. And I will tell you how it is, and I'm not here to stroke your ego. And if that's the kind of friend or person that you're looking for, or leader, you're in the wrong place. And I don't mean that rudely. I will always, always 150% have your back and support you. And you will feel loyalty from me like nobody's business. But at the same time, I will not tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you how it is. And I'm not going to tell you that you're doing a great job and you're on track for diamond if you're not. And that's not, again, to be rude, but that is just the truth. And if you are on track, I'm going to tell you. So just know that whatever I say is always in your best interest. And when we have one-on-ones and when we have Zooms like this, I will never tell you something because I want to detriment your business. I am always here sharing these things, sharing the things that I've gone through, because I want you to learn from my mistakes. I want you to learn from the things that I'm learning, right? And that's how we create this duplication is, okay, I learned something, I'm going to share it with you. You learned something, you're going to share it with your downline, right? So today we are going to talk about relaunching after you've taken a step back in your business. And the reason that I preface with the whole offensive thing is because this is kind of a touchy subject, and a lot of different leaders have a lot of different opinions about this, and people work their businesses different ways. But I am all about one team, one mission, and I am your leader, and I am here to lead and guide you to success. And I'll touch on that later. I don't want to forget about that. I had a really good example of something. But anyways, I'm going to tell you today the things that I have had to tell myself, because I have been in this position, believe it or not. So has Nat, and she's going to share that as well. So I'm going to just kind of share my personal story first, and then I'll kind of dive into like how to tackle this and everything. And then Nat will share kind of just her story, and if she has anything to add on, we'll kind of close it up. And then I have something at the end that we'll go over, but just so you guys know this kind of flow. So I worked my business, you guys, so freaking hard. It was not even funny. Like, gave 150 freaking percent of me, regardless of what was going on in my life, until about Emerald. And when I went Emerald, I earned a $5,000 bonus at the time. And I was so excited, you guys. I'm talking so excited because I pulled that in. I did that. And I can confidently, without a doubt, say that not a single person on my chart was working. Okay. So if I can do it, you can do it. I only had 2 people working on my chart when I went diamond. Okay. So we'll talk about that in a second. But point being, you can do it by yourself. You don't have to, though, but you can. So I was really excited. I was hyped. I was like, oh my God, like this is so lit. Cause I was still working like 60 hours a week, you guys. And so I had my paycheck coming in for my job. And as an Emerald, you know, income disclosure statement inserted, you make an average of $1,000 a month. Plus my bonus, I was making almost diamond pay as an Emerald. And so I was just lit. I was like, oh, this is so great. I got so much extra dough now. I'm like paying off debt. I'm doing all the things. We were going to Seattle like every weekend. What I'll tell you is every single penny I made went down the drain, you guys. Literally, and that's a whole nother story for another day, but I have nothing to show for it because I didn't know how to manage my money. I had a very poor mindset, both around finances and just with my self-confidence and my worth, and my temperature was really low. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But if you do, y'all feel what I'm saying, right? And I took my foot off the gas. I did. I kind of like, I never stopped working my business, but I slowed down and I stopped getting the haps up and I stopped sending the 200 messages a day. I was just sending the bare minimum. And I was kind of bulldozing over my team because at the time I was sort of an angry leader and I was going through weird stuff with my enroller. And like, there was just a lot of different things going on. And then I went to an event and I got my butt to conference and walked in an Emerald. 45 days later, went double diamond. Same thing happened. Worked my ass off to get double diamond, was so hyped, so lit after conference. Was like, oh my God, like this is happening. I'm earning these bonuses. Again, earned a diamond and a double diamond bonus. And I was just on one. I was excited. But again, there was still so much growth that needed to happen. There was still so much financial responsibility that I needed to take. And just a lot of life stuff happened. And you guys, I've been through so many different phases in this business. So if you've ever been there or you're there now, I feel you. I obviously had just had a baby and I was going through this like weird depressive time, and I didn't see it at the time, but I see it now. Like my best friend at the time was not a good or healthy relationship for me to surround myself with. I was drinking literally, you guys, like, and I have no shame about this, like 2 bottles a night, every single night. And we were going out every single weekend and we were getting trashed. And I had a baby, you know what I mean? Like I was just irresponsible. Like, I don't know, I've just gone through, but I didn't know how to have money. And so when I had money, it was like, well, let's get drunk. You know what I mean? Like, let's go party. Let's go do the things. Let's go out. Let's go out to food. And I posted about it the other day, but like, if you know the Huffmans, you know we love to go out and we love to have fun. And I'm not saying that there's anything bad with partying, but what I will say is that it was too much. There was a lot going on, and I was surrounding myself with people and getting myself into situations that were doing nothing but bringing that temperature right back down from 80 to 40. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens. And you're going to see those drops and those rises, both in your income and your responsibility level and who you are as a person. And maybe you don't have a drinking problem like me, but literally, you guys, there's going to be so many different roller coasters that you go through. And what I really only recently learned after going double diamond, and like I said, going through this whole kind of party phase and losing rank, and I like lost some of my bonuses. Like there was just a lot of things that happened. And to be honest, I felt really defeated. like really defeated, because although I was a double diamond, I was not acting like it. And I was not prepping for triple. And I was not learning how to manage my finances and to make this business actually what I wanted it to be. Because the whole reason that I'm here is because I wanted to have the house, have the kids, have all the things, and I'm just throwing it down the drain. And ultimately what it comes down to is self-development. And, you know, I really had to take a look at who my inner circle is. And I'm not telling you to like go through your friends and start unfriending people and like push people out of your life by any means. But what I am telling you is that if you're not around people who are constantly pushing you to level up, if you are not around people who are checking you, saying, like, literally my best friend Julia literally would text me and be like, dude, you're drinking too much. Like, you need to chill. We would literally have conversations where we would both like take 4-day drinking breaks because we needed to work and we needed to bust out our business. And I just let life get in the way and I lost vision. And I know that my story is not going to necessarily be exactly what your story is, but you're going to have a similar story like that. And you're going to constantly be changing seats. And what I have learned, you guys, is that this business is so worth it. And if you just work every single day consistently, you will reap the rewards. But when you take your foot off the gas, I will warn you from personal experience. And if you don't work on your mindset, and if you don't work on getting over your poor mindset, which I'm going to write down another note, then you're going to have trouble. You're going to fall. But just know that that might happen and that that's okay. So first and foremost, you're going to go through things. And I just want you to know that you shouldn't beat yourself up about that. And what you have to realize is you get stuck in this paralyzation when you see that this is happening. I saw it when I went Emerald. I saw it after I went Double, where you realize you took your foot off the gas, where you realize that you have wasted so much time and you get paralyzed because your first thought is, how do I make up for all this time? Like, how do I make up for the last 4 weekends that I decided to go out instead of work my business? And you start to just get in this cycle and you beat yourself up about it. And what you have to realize is you can't make up for the time that you've lost. You can't make up the messages that you didn't send. The time has passed. Your time for that promotion and that phase of your life is gone. That doesn't mean that you need to be scared. That doesn't mean that it's never going to come for you. It is. But you have to understand that you can't ever make up for what you lost. So you have to take action right now. Less thought, more action. The second that you realize that you haven't been working your business like you should, the fact that you haven't been making time for your family, whatever it is, you have to just decide and move. And if you've never listened to the 5-second rule, I highly suggest listening to it because that will help you with this if that's something that you struggle with. But ultimately, you guys, it is a decision. And you have the same decision that I have. Nat has the same decision that you have. We all have the same decision. And you can either work your business or you don't. And there's no one looking over your shoulder. And as your leader, not your manager, I'm not going to tell you that that's a bad thing. The reality is, you guys, that there's not someone looking over your shoulder holding you accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable, especially as a leader. And as you start pushing for these leadership ranks, I don't care if you're pushing for Ruby, executive, whatever, but especially when you start pushing for Diamond and above, you have to have self-discipline, period. So you have to reprogram that within yourself, because a lot of us are programmed without that. A lot of us are used to a world where you show up and you get paid for every hour you're there, regardless of what you do. That's not how this works. This is a business. This is something that you are building. I truly look at this as a legacy and an empire that I am building for my family and for my teams and their families and all the people that we touch, right? all the people that we reach in this. But you have to reprogram that within yourself. It's like a muscle that we all have to build up. No one's born with that. I did not come into this business, you guys, with the grit and the determination and the goal-oriented mindedness and all these different things. It's not like I just was like, oh, here we go. No, I had to learn that. And I had to learn by seeing what happens when I take my foot off the gas. I have to see what happens when I make those mistakes. And a lot of that is just my personality, but a lot of it is something that you're going to go through too. And you just have to build the muscle up. And every time that you fall back, you just got to get back up. And every time that you stand back up, you get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. But you got to get back up. And I'm not going to let you stay down, but a lot of it is also you pulling yourself up, back up with the damn rope that's hanging in front of you because there's no one else there. But I am there to help you. Okay. The other thing is when you decide and you notice, right, you've noticed that you've taken a step back, you know that you need to revamp or to reboost your business, relaunch, you're going to feel great. Maybe even for the first couple hours, but really the first couple days, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm back on track. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever started a new workout schedule, like the first 3 days, you're like on one, you're jumping out of bed, you're excited for it. And by that fourth day, you're like, do I really want to get up? Like, I'm just going to snooze one time. And then the next day you snooze twice. And then the next day you snooze 3 times. And before you know it, you are so back off track that you got to start again, right? And you want to avoid that. So what you need to understand is that life is always going to happen. And this is, again, stuff that I have had to tell myself, you guys. Shit is always going to be hitting the fan. And if there's anything that I've learned from 2020 is that every day something can happen. It's not an every 6-month thing anymore like it used to be. Things can change in a week. You guys, I was evacuated from my home for 8 to 9 days. Like, things can happen that we don't expect, and that's just the reality. Your kids are always going to be screaming. Your dogs are always going to be shitting all over the house. Like, there's always going to be something that is deterring you from your business. And what I want you to start asking yourself, and Jade Hooper actually taught me this, is can I suck it up? When your dog is pooping all over the house, when your kids are screaming at you and you just want to cry, can you suck it up? Can you be a big girl and pull your panties up and let your kids scream in the background for 10 minutes while you send your messages? The other reality is I go back to work. So Oakland, would you rather be sitting there screaming with your mom and you can sit on my lap and I'm going to send some messages? Or would you rather be with a babysitter or in daycare and I'll be gone for 9 hours? You know what I'm saying? That's really ultimately what it is for me. And what I have to realize is, do I want food on the table? Do I want to be able to buy another car? Do I want to stay home with both my kids? Okay, then regardless of what is going on throughout my day, I have to work my business. And the best part about this, you guys, is you don't need to put the pressure of yourself of spending 12 hours a day on your phone. That's not what I'm saying. But I am telling you that you're not always going to feel like working. I am telling you that your kids are always going to be freaking out. And if you only have an hour to work your business and they're screaming, they're going to have to scream while you send your messages. They're going to have to scream while you send a post or put a post up or do whatever or finish the call that you're on. And what I want you to understand too is you're a real person and it's okay that things are going on. If you are cleaning up puke, literally, which I've had to do, I'm like voice messaging potentials back. Like, yeah, sorry, my dog just puked all over my house, so I'm cleaning it up right now, but I'll get back to you in 5 minutes. Or here's the pricing. I'm so excited for you. Oakland's yelling in the background and I'm turning the show on. Like, people want to see that too. That's part of who you are. That's part of your life. But like I said, and like Nat put in the chat, is you make your own schedule. You decide when you work this. And I am, going to be the person who tells you that you need to make time for your family and you need to make time for yourself, but you also need to make time for your business, sister, because if you truly want to go places in this, you got to freaking work. Point blank, period. And you will see, just like I saw and just like Nat's about to tell you, what happens when you take your foot off the gas? So let your kids see you building a business. Let them see what it's like to be an entrepreneur. I am so glad that even when my daughter is upset, that I get to be here for her. And even if she has to wait an extra 10 minutes to get her meal because I need to finish what I'm doing, she is going to one day realize, wow, my mom got to stay home and work. How cool is that? My mom got to drive me to school every single day. And even if she had to send a few extra messages or whatever before we went into 7-Eleven, I got to pick out whatever I wanted because finances were never an issue. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be a poison that you have to pick. You always have to pick your poison. So are you going to, like I said, put your kids in daycare, or are you going to stay home with them? And that's not everybody's like place or where you're at or where you want to be necessarily, but I'm just using it as an example. You can use it however you want. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself right now, and if you feel comfortable enough to put it in the chat, please do. Otherwise, what is one excuse that you're giving yourself right now? What is one excuse that you are using to not work your business? And then my next question is, can you suck it up? I love seeing the chat blow up. Okay. The next thing that I want you to do, and to give you guys like a task after this, is I want you to literally word vomit on paper all of the excuses that you can think of. I want you to literally get it all out, okay? And then when you're done, I want you to write on the flip side, what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish today? What do you need to do this week? And fill that paper, fill it. And what I want you to do is all of those excuses you're going to look at and you're going to read and you're going to say, I'm sucking it up and I'm doing it anyways to yourself. And you're going to draw a big X on it. And then when you look at your other side where it has what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, I want you to start crossing things off. And I don't mean by doing them. I mean by saying they can wait till tomorrow. And what we have to realize is that there's only so much time in the day, you guys, and you're not going to get everything that you want to get done in your house and in your business and with your kids and with yourself and with your spouse and with your friends and with your job in one day. It's not going to happen. So quit being over analytic about it. And I think that we as women really compile things. Connor likes to say that our brain is like a bowl of spaghetti. And it's such a stupid example, but it is so true. We have all these different things, hundreds of different things going on, and it's all woven together, when a man's brain is literally 4 stacked shelves with perfectly aligned, alphabetically ordered books, right? So we have to kind of work with how we work. And when we realize that we're overwhelming ourselves, we have to realize that that's a choice. When we choose to have a sense of overwhelmingness, this anxiety over us of all the different things that we need to do, we need to check ourselves and we need to look at our list and be like, okay, what are 3 to 6 things that have to be done today? Like, period. If they're not done today, it's late on homework, or it's not going to get done. What is the things that absolutely have to get done? And then save the piece of paper and go back to it tomorrow and do 3 to 6 more things on that list that need to be done. And then the next day, 3 to 6 things. And you guys will see on Monday when we kind of shift the push again on what we're asking you to comment. But we used to all the track and write down what our house, personal, and business goals were. And I would just have you pick 2 of each every day. And that's what we would focus on. And ultimately what I'm trying to teach you with that is there's only going to be a couple things that you can do, and you just have to prioritize. You have to do the same thing in your business. You have to prioritize. If you haven't gotten a post up, that's a priority. If you've already gotten 12 stories up, but you haven't grown your network all day, maybe pass on making another story and putting up a story right now and go grow your network. You know what I'm saying? You've got to see what is of importance. You've got to look at what you truly need to get done and what can wait. Okay. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, my one suggestion too is if you guys have like paper everywhere and that stresses you out, you need to go digital. And if you are digital and you feel like you can't keep track of everything, then you need to go paper. Okay. So whether you have everything like your 6 list and your charts and all that kind of stuff as paper, or you have your 6 list and your charts and the chats and all the different things on your phone, I don't care which, but you have to get yourself organized. And I'm going to tell you that if you're relaunching your business, that's going to be something that you want to do right away. Set up a schedule for yourself. Write down what 6 list you are going to accomplish every single day. What are the things that you need to get done this week? What are the things that are your non-negotiables every month? Like checking and messaging for perk points and credit card declines, right? But then once you've made that once, there's no need to make it again. Okay. So don't waste time rewriting things and rewriting a schedule and remaking a schedule. It's not your schedule that's the problem. It's that you're so focused on making sure that your day looks perfect that you're not doing anything. So again, less thought. What? Yeah. Less thought, more action. So don't get stuck in this, oh, I got to get organized. Oh, I got to wake up earlier. Oh, I got to get back on track. You don't have to do all things at once. Get organized and then get to work. Okay, it's not going to look perfect and it's not going to look like you thought it would. Every day is going to be different, and part of leadership and part of being in this business is just being adaptable and understanding that you're human and you're going to make mistakes and things are going to happen. So Nat, before I kind of go into my last points, I'm going to mute myself, and if you want to share your story and just dive in, baby.
All right, so there's no way I'm going to top any of that. I just want y'all to have zero expectation. But I just kind of wanted to share with you guys like a little bit about what I have gone through, what I go through, X, Y, and Z. Because I can tell you there have been more than enough times where I've taken breaks or stepped back. For instance, calling myself out, last week I had an unexpected death in the family, and it took a huge toll on everybody. And I'm not saying if you guys have somebody that passes away or something drastic happens, somebody's in the hospital, to like, like, what is the word? Like not downplay it or downplay it. Is that what I'm looking for? Something like that. I'm not saying like what you're going through is not important, but I took more than enough time than what I should have. But I had family fly in from different areas, and so having people around and like solely talking about that brought a lot of memories for myself back from when I lost my dad. And so for myself, that was like really overpowering, and it just took a lot out of me, that I made the excuse of I don't have the time right now, or I need this time right now with my family. And you might need that time with your family, but you like, for myself, when I saw my paycheck roll in, I'm going to just at myself and be like, I'm crying internally hella hard. Like I could cry right now and pretend it's about this death, but really I'm hella crying because of my paycheck. Like IDS, obviously all the way around. But anyway, so I really wanted to put that out there because I was like, this is the most cringiest paycheck I've had in a while. And like with everything else going on, it only motivated me more. So I'm like, reached out to my team and was just like, I've been so MIA, and for that I apologize. Like I went live on my page right then and there when I got it, and was just like, I apologize to everyone who's been following me, and like I have an update on life, like I've just been going through some stuff right now, so I paused on my business, and like for those of you who've been following me and you guys have been watching all my stuff, like I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry I took that break. Like I just needed it for myself. And so I kind of added myself out at all my people, whether it's potentials or people that follow me have thought about signing up. But because I took that break, I have like what feels like 6 months worth of work to catch up on. It's obviously not that it's a week of work, but like when you take a week off, your team takes a month off. And so I feel like I have so much work now that I got to like catch up on. I got to do this. You guys know, like I don't sleep anymore. And so like oddly enough, I've been falling asleep kind of early, but then like going back to sleep. And anyways, it's just a big shit show all the time. I don't sleep. I need to figure out how to manage my time again. But I don't want to go back to my job, you guys. I tried to pick up like 2 shifts in the last 3 weeks, and I literally want to like punch myself in the face. Like, I don't remember how to work at a normal, like, I don't want to say normal job, but like a 9 to 5 kind of a job, because I just don't remember how to do it. I've had so much luxury time and clearly dicking around with it, but I'm getting back to where I got to be. The first time I did this was probably like when I first started. Okay, so as you guys know, I like lied to my entire family. I told them that my enroller was paying me to put up these posts for them. Some bullshit. I don't even know what I was saying, but that's what I was telling people. And then my friends would message me like, "Oh, your account got hacked." And I'm like, "Nope, that's just me putting up something like a picture of a fake milkshake or whatever it was, like greens." And I don't even know what I was doing. But from there to about a year later, it was like an on and off train. I would be doing good one month, I'd be posting, I'd be sending my messages, doing the damn thing, feeling on top of the world. And then it was like the next month was kind of slower for me. And then I would just like prioritize my hospital job over this. I would work 22-hour shifts back to back to back to back. I would do like 6 days straight of 18-hour shifts. And I remember one time I did a 14-hour shift, I did an 18-hour shift, I did a 22, and it was all right before Christmas of this last year. And then I like a 16-hour shift the next day, and that fourth day, I could not drive myself home. I fell asleep in the car. I literally had to beg my job to Uber me home because I could not drive myself. Like, I was mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted, and that's just where like I drew my line. I was like, I either get it the hell together or I keep living my life like this, complaining about it, and I'm never going to be happy. I'm never going to make the money that I need. I'm never going to do anything. I'm going to work for somebody who absolutely hates me, and like the feeling's mutual. So if you're watching this, I'm not sorry. But anyways, the feeling is very mutual there, okay? Very mutual. I'm tired of working for her. She hates me. She makes it known all the time. And like, I'm very good at my job there, and I absolutely love working at the hospital, but I can't do it full time anymore. Like, I had initially given up my full-time job, I think sometime around November last year. And then I went supplemental, which just meant like I could pick up my hours, I could make a schedule. And so I thought, what a great time. Well, then this other opportunity came around in January of this year. And I was like, oh, I'm going to take it. It's working for a different person. It's a better position. Yeah, I ended up really hating it. And then COVID came around and they were like, well, we can keep you on. But I was like, to be honest, my kid's not in school. My mom lives 2 hours away. So I guess I'm going to get my shit together now, and I have no choice but to do it. So I forfeited my full-time job that I had just started in January. So literally 3 months later, I came home and I started just working. I literally read Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and I really freaking recommend that book because it really just put my ass in gear. I was motivated to the reasons why, like Zayden had no school anymore. Like, I couldn't take him to my mom's house 2 hours, which I was doing before shift. I was taking him 2 hours away, driving back, and then going to work. Like, my shit was tough, you guys. It was hard. And the days that I went to the hospital to work, I did not want to, like, literally my business was like the last thing I wanted to do. But then I realized, I'm like, oh, you dumb person. I almost said something else. You have this opportunity in front of you that will allow you to make a paycheck as much as you want, depending on how much you want to work, and have your kid here. And so when I took that full-time job in January, Zayden had been used to having me home for like 4 months before that. And I remember him telling me, he's like, Mom, do you work again at the hospital all the time? And I was like, I'm not going to work all the time, but I will be working, yes. And he literally goes, I just miss when you had no job. And that for me stuck with me. That was literally like when I came home in March, I was like, no, I'm not going back. I don't want to go back. And as much as that manager hated me because I literally bailed on her 3 months later, I was like, I don't want to go back. Like, my kid realizes I'm not there for him anymore. Like, he's old enough to know that he's either got to go the 2 hours to my mom's house, or he's got to go to daycare for 8 hours until his dad or his aunt or somebody can pick him up. Every day was a struggle finding somebody to pick him up, okay? And that was $1,100 out of my pocket every month. daycare is not a cheap thing, you guys. And so either figuring out how to save that money or putting it towards my debt, which is what I've been trying to do since I haven't had to pay for daycare in like months. I'm loving life. Okay. Granted, this kid is like a lot for me sometimes. And like sometimes I really am like, Alexa invited me to Target yesterday. And I was like, I have to bring Z. And she's like, it's fine. I'm like, no, I know I'm sad about it. Like, I want to go walk around Target and not be. She's like, it's fine. I'm like, no, I'm sad is the thing. Like, so granted, you guys, there are really tough times. We go through things. Okay. There are everything in the world that you want to make an excuse for, because sometimes our job is tedious. Sometimes our job feels like it's getting old, or sometimes I feel like I'm just like, I'm running out of people. Well, I'm not running out of people, but like, that's how I feel sometimes. And so there's a lot of times where I reach out to other people and I'm like, hey, you want to send 30 messages with me right now? Like, I'm really just not feeling motivated and I just don't want to do anything right now. And sleeping sounds great, although I don't sleep, but sleeping sounds great. Like, so there are times where for myself, like, again, like last week, I did literally absolutely nothing. Like, I posted some stories here and there, but there were days where I was completely MIA. And for that, I have a lot of catching up to do. Like, I have a lot of messaging to figure out. My DMs, I haven't followed up with anybody. Well, like I have now, but I hadn't followed up with anybody. Like, so I had like open messages that weren't responded to, or people swiped up on my story. I don't even know what they said in my story now, because it like goes away afterwards. So I'm like, so I did that to myself. I can only take account for it. And I'm just excited to put myself back on the wheel here, because next month, I don't know about you guys, but like I did a live a couple days ago when I really put things into perspective, and I was like super hype about it. And I literally was like, I'm sick of where I'm being. I am sick of it. Like, I can't tell you how many times where I'm like, I love being Ruby. I love being Ruby, but I want more. Okay. I want more, not only for myself, for my team, but for my family. Like, I have so many things that I want to be doing, and like my why needs to be stronger apparently, because I don't feel like my why is as strong if I can take a week off. Like, if I can take not just one day or maybe a couple hours off to be with my family at that time. Like, if it's overpowering everything else, like, it's not strong enough for me. Sorry, hold on. I just got a FaceTime. Hope you guys can still hear me. But anyways, I just really wanted to talk a little bit about that. Like, there are times where, like, I will tell you, my whole family depends on me 99% of the time. Like, whether it's do this for me, do that for me, I need money, whether it's this, it's always been like that. Okay. It's always been like that, just because I've had the hospital job, which I got paid very well at. I apparently loved working enough to where I would put myself through some shit. And like, it was never worth it. Okay. Working for somebody, like I said, that who absolutely hated me and I hated her, like, it was not worth it. It was only for the money, strictly for the money. Like, there were times where we were drowning in debt, and like, or drowning in like a house payment, and we couldn't do this and we couldn't do that because we just didn't have the money. Like, I'm sick of living that way. My parents tried everything they could to give us what they could when we were younger, but we didn't have fun stuff like other kids. Like, we never went on trips. We never went anywhere. I don't even know what camping is. Like, somebody who, I think it was Kiana invited me camping, and I'm like, I'm going to be honest. Like, what do I need clothes? Like, what's going on? I don't know what people bring. I don't know what camping is. Okay. I've been fishing once in my life, and I caught one fish, and it was bigger than my head. And I was so proud of myself, and was like, well, I can check that off my bucket list, because apparently that's how I thought I needed to live. Like, one time, one thing. Like, I've been to Disneyland once, and it was like 2.5 years ago, and it was only because we got into Disneyland for fucking free. Like, my Zayden's dad or whatever has family that works there, so we got there for free. We didn't have to pay for a living expense. We stayed with them. All we had to pay was for the gas to go down there and food. And I literally was like, awesome, I've done that, check. Like, that should not be how you guys live. That should not be how you live. You should be able to have all these crazy things that you want to do, and you want to do them multiple times. Okay. I'm going to Hawaii for the second time in 2 years. I have never done that in my life. Like, granted, I have family that lives there. Sure. Thank God. But like, I would not be doing that if I didn't have family that lived there. I would not be motivated to save the money to go do that and stay there for 2 weeks. I'm going to be there for 2 weeks. Like, I wouldn't have the money to be doing that if it weren't for this business. Like I said, I haven't been back to the hospital very often. I picked up 2 shifts and I'm already like, I want to punch myself in the throat. People are like, why are you coming back? And I'm like, I asked myself the same thing. Okay. After I clocked in, I was like, why the fuck am I here? Like, I don't want to be here. This is why I left. But anyways, I just wanted to talk a little about how like shit happens, you guys. Shit just freaking happens. But when you feel it happening, reach out to somebody. Like if you have somebody on the team that you trust, like Lex, I can tell you, I texted her probably every single day and was just like, I am doing this today. Like I'm going to be kind of MIA. Like I've got this planned. I've got this and this and this and this. And she's like, all right, well, have a good day. Like she's always so motivating for me. And so like for me, that was really nice to lean on her. Like I know Brie reached out to me and was like, is there anything I can do for you? And like as a leader for me, like on my downline, like I really appreciated that. And that was just kind of like I needed that boost to know that people realize I'm fucking missing, to like be present, like get myself back in it. There's a couple things like I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you want me to share them now or if you want me to share them after. Okay. So there's a couple different things that I kind of put together for as far as like how to get back and motivated. One of them was like, who do you want help from? Like, who's your ideal worker? Like, if you stop and you think to yourself, like, is it someone like my sister who busts her fucking ass all the time, works anytime she can, doesn't go out and literally does school and she's becoming a lawyer and like does all that stuff? Is it somebody who's like dedicated to the work and like wants results? Or is it somebody like myself where I'm kind of here and there sometimes and like, like I can say that about myself because I know I am. Like I've been doing that. And so like I want to better myself. I want to work like somebody like my sister. And so Izzy, if you're watching this, please don't take this to your head. And then it says like, who do you see yourself working with for a long time? Like, can you see yourself working with someone like as motivated as Lex or driven as Lex? Like Lex has another baby on the way. She had to evacuate. She's home now. She's doing the damn thing again. Like she was doing Zooms from her mother-in-law's like whatever living room while they were all probably sitting there staring at her, and she's just like, hey, what's up? Like, sorry, I gotta be here. Like, or is it somebody like Jamie who does like 500 LCs in 1 minute and then like she's like, hey guys, sorry, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing, but it's like, what the fuck did you just do? Like, how? You know what I mean? Like there's something about everybody that we all need that to be one. Like we all need that. And so that was a part of my live the other day too, where it was like, we need to figure out how to be like one again, because without each other, like there are different things that we all bring to the table. And so without each other, like we're going to be like two little separate over here's. I don't even know what to call them. We got to be like here. That's what I'm getting at. And then another one is like, find your confidence again, whether it's in the products, whether it's in the team, whether it's in the opportunity you have, like challenge yourself to another 90-day challenge. If you guys haven't had results in like 5-6 months, do skincare, do weight loss, gain weight, I don't know, whatever you want to be doing, like challenge yourself to another 90-day challenge, get more results and get excited about them. Hair, skin, and nails, something as easy as that. Like, another one is, it kind of goes with that one, is like, be loud and be proud about your business. Okay. For myself, I've challenged myself to go live daily on my Facebook now, because I will openly admit I'm not the best at posting. Like I run out of things to say. I'm still learning. Like, and granted, every day we're going to be learning. Okay. There's always room to learn. That's like a whole other separate bullet point, but like whether it's posting or how to run your business, how to be a better leader, whatever it is, like there's always room to learn. But be loud and proud about your business. Every single day I've been going live and just like, what's up, y'all? Like, how y'all doing? Like 99 out of 20%, I look like this, so nobody come at me for this. But like, I've been talking about how my hair is 500 colors, and on Sunday I'm finally getting it freaking done. And like, I'm just like so excited about that. But also, here are my deals. So if you're on here, listen up. Like, that's what I've been kind of doing. So I kind of like that. I think it's fun. I think it's fun when people interact. And I've had a couple of people interact. Somebody commented on mine yesterday and was like, do people even buy from you? That's a great question, Marcus. Thanks for your time. Like, would I be on here, you smart person, if I wasn't like dead ass about this, or if people weren't questioning me about, like, would I be on here, Marcus? No, the answer was no. Anyways, I thought that was hella funny actually when I read that. I was like, this guy has to go. Anyways, like you have to find people that you have common interests with, that they want to hear more about you, whether it's, you know, with the products, or whether it's with the opportunity that you're looking for specifically, and like create relationships. Like this is why we interact, so that people can see your name, they start to see your name, they start to see your posts, they start to see everything, and then eventually they message you and they say like, hey, I saw that you posted about this coffee, like I'm kind of interested. They may not intend to buy right then and there, but that helps you for up to 6 months, 7 months, 8 months down the road, when you continue to follow up, and then the pick 2 comes back in 4 months and they're like, oh hell yeah, I'm ready for that. Like it is so crucial to keep up with interacting and messaging and talking to people, so that they know who you are. Like you want to be that girl that works from her phone, or the girl that has those awesome products. Because I don't remember what we were talking about, but I swear this was on a Zoom like last week or something, where we talked about like, what was the exact thing? God damn it, it was just on my tongue, but it was something like where people are like, oh, they're making fun of you. When people are making fun of you for doing stuff like this, but then their mom's like, God damn it, I want to lose weight, and all this freaking coffee I drink is like so stupid and I hate it. And then they're like, oh, actually I have this girl on my Facebook who like sells this fat burning coffee. And then at that point they know everything about it. Oh, it's got nootropic, it's black French roast, or like, oh, it's made with green coffee beans and MCT oils and grass-fed butter. Like she also talks about how it has collagen as like a benefit or like an added benefit. Like you are that person for them. So regardless of them making fun of you, regardless of them commenting on your live, people even buy your stuff, like, yes, Marcus, now recommend a friend for me, please. Thank you. Like they're going to remember these stuff or this stuff. God, I don't know what English is apparently. Then a whole other bullet point for me was be a better leader. Like for myself, I have to understand that Lex even said like allot them time if they need to step back or they need to do these things, like whatever is going on with them, but figure out how to just be there for them. Like be a friend, not just a leader. Granted, yes, we're not going to stroke your ego, because I'm also not like that. I will really give it to you how it is if you need to hear it. But like I will literally be like, hey dude, I understand, you know, you had this happen, like take a minute and just like relax, breathe, and just forget about this side for 2 seconds and just deal with this right now. Like I'm still going to be here when you're done. And then I'll text them the next day like, hey, how are you feeling today? Like everything going okay or whatever. Like I want you to know that I'm not just there as a leader, but I'm there as a friend as well. And so figure out how to be a better leader. Like for myself, I've been taking a lot of time watching YouTube videos on how to be a better leader, how to do this stuff, because I need to remind myself, like I have to be there all the time, whether it's, you know, doing my own thing or whether it's for somebody on my team. Like I have to be present, and I can't keep doing these fall off the maps, come on the maps, fall off the maps, come on, because it's just going to make things harder for me. And that's why I'm at where I'm at today. And I had like a hard realization with myself, like for that, which is why I said in my live the other day, like put a 2 in here if you're just freaking tired of where you're at. Like we can't get anywhere without getting ourselves there, and not just ourselves, but I mean like mentally. But anyways, another thing is just like Lex was saying, get organized again, create your 6 list, find out who your potentials are. And like she was talking about, either digitally or on paper. Paper works best for me. Don't go and screw around and remake everything just because you're like, oh, fresh start, whatever. Like you can do that a different day. That's not important. But find the things that are important and do that. And then just get excited about your success. Be loud and proud about what you want to do. I kind of pointed on like loud and proud, but postings verbally, if you have a job still, like whether you're there, talk to people there or people's parents. Like my friend Maddie just came home from Texas, and like I told her, she just started up with us a little bit ago, and I was like, ask your parents. Like they're the first 2 people you're going to see when you get here. Like ask your parents. So I don't know, family, friends, whoever. And even if you don't think people will support you, you will be surprised. Like last month, my 2 best friends signed up and I've never asked them. And I've been here for almost 2 years. So like that was huge for me. And they both didn't ask any questions. They're like, yeah, sure. Like we see you killing it. Like, let's do it. I'm like, what the fuck? It was that easy? Like, I'm kind of pissed. But anyways, so that's just kind of all I had for like my chat. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so I wanted to give you and end with 2 kind of different examples and things that have come up for me the last couple days that might hit home for you too. These are always things for me, like to share. It's very vulnerable for me, but like I hope that you guys get something from them all the time. So first things first was last night. I did not feel like working at all. I did not want to work, and it was late. I didn't really want to text anybody to like work with them. And honestly, I didn't want to text anybody because I didn't want somebody to hold me accountable for it. Like I was just going through this like whole 10-minute thing, and I wasted so much time just sitting there asking myself if I should send the messages, and I would have already been done with them if I had just done it when I thought of it. But anyways, I didn't want to work, and I was laying there, and I remembered this little one sentence phrase that I heard on this girl's story the other day. And I don't know why it stuck with me, but it did. And she said, because she like works out all the time or whatever. And she was like, when you're tired, do it tired. And so I just said to myself, because I had the thought, I'm so freaking tired. And I just immediately corrected myself with do it tired then. And it goes back to the suck it up thing. Like, can you suck it up in this moment? Can you do it when you're exhausted? Can you do it anyways? So I just wanted to let you know that number one, that shit happens to me too, you guys. I don't feel like working all the time. I'm not like always hyped, going through all the motions. I have to tell myself to get it done anyways. And the longer that you're in this and the more that you create self-discipline and the more serious you get about your goals, the harder you're going to be on yourself. So I check myself pretty freaking often, and I make myself get it done regardless of how I feel. But that's only because I've made the decision to not work my business based off of my feelings, but work my business based off of what I want. And that was a really important change and phase for me. The next thing that I wanted to tell you guys was, like I said, I grew up with a poor mindset. I had a really broke mindset, I guess I should say. My parents always were spouting things off like money doesn't grow on trees. Sorry, we can't do that. Like it was one thing after another. And it could have been so much worse. Like, I don't want to sit here and say that like I had it terribly, but like we had the bare minimum and that was it. And so I've really had to work on that. And I am much, 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 much better now than I was 3 years ago. And I talked on this a little bit earlier, but I really had to learn how to manage my money and how to be smart with my money. But that's, again, a whole nother Zoom that we could do, is like how to make sure that you guys are using this properly. But point being, I still struggle with this. And I was in the car with Connor yesterday, and I said, babe, I had a funny realization today. And he was like, what? And I was like, that I'm obsessed with being broke. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, well, we have gone up and down, had a lot of money, had no money. I had a lot of money, had no money together. And recently, like obviously we have had a lot of things happen and we've had a lot of life, but we are also starting to get back on track. And I've been really, really excited about that. And this last week has probably, not even this last week, this last couple days really, because the evacuation thing kind of threw me off, and my check wasn't where I wanted it to be, and all the things. But I had this like sense of things were fine. And I realized that when I didn't have bills and the fact that my paycheck wasn't as much as I wanted it to be and all these different scarcity mindset thoughts running through my brain, I didn't know what to think about. And I literally sat there because I literally had the thought, wow, I'm not thinking about bills right now. That's kind of nice. And then I was like, well, what do I think about? Because I have anxiety, like really bad anxiety. And so my mind, if it's not running 1,000 miles an hour, I'm like, what's wrong? Why am I not having so many different thoughts? Why is there not scary fears running through my mind all day? Like, what's happening? Well, what's happening is that I'm leveling up. What's happening is that I'm getting more control over my emotions. What's happening is that I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm growing out of that broke mindset. I'm attracting more money to me. I'm maintaining and paying off debt. I'm growing from a 40 degreer to an 80 degreer. And I'm just putting all these things together, and he's like, wow, like that's a really great realization. And I said, yes, it's a great realization, but now I have to know what to do with it. Because it's one thing to recognize your thought process, it's another thing to reprogram it. So I sat there and I said, okay, so when I think about the fact that I don't have anything to think about and things are actually good right now, or when these fears come up, how am I going to redirect myself so that I'm constantly looking at my next goal, so that I'm constantly focused on the positive of where we are headed and all the different things. And I just decided to tell myself, because my next goal is triple diamond, what does triple diamond mean for me and my family? And I just start listing those things off. Going on a family vacation, being completely financially free, being able to go pick out a new car. You guys, I can't tell you how badly I want a new car. It's not even funny. If you don't know, Connor totaled one of our cars like a year ago almost, and we just haven't gotten a new one because I want to pay off my car before we get a new one. But I want a new car so bad. And so I want to focus on, and I'm redirecting my thoughts to what it will feel like to go drive that car and to drive it off of the lot, paid cash, no car payment, all the things. And that is what I'm just redirecting my mind. So I want you to catch yourself, and I want you to ask yourself, are you obsessed with being broke? Because if the answer is yes, when you go to relaunch your business, you're not going to allow yourself to promote. You're not going to allow yourself to stay consistent because you're not thinking about all of the fears that you have about your next promotion, right? So when you have all these different fears, you're consumed by the fact that your promotion's not coming. You're obsessed with not achieving your promotion. So how are you going to change it to being obsessed with your promotion? And then reprogramming, right? But you got to catch yourself first. So I just really wanted to share that, because when I had that realization, I was like, oh my God, now I'm ready. And I can confidently say, I'm ready for triple. I'm ready for what that income is going to bring us, because I know exactly where every dollar of both of those paychecks are going. I know exactly what we need to pay off our debt. I know exactly how much money we need to be able to go on this vacation and to purchase the car I want. I know exactly what car I want. You know what I'm saying? So get really freaking laser focused on your goals when you go to relaunch, and then decide that this is the last time that you are relaunching your business, okay? It is so much easier said than done, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I won't fall again, and I'm not going to sit here and say that you won't fall at all or again, right? But we have to make the decision. So what I want you to do, and I already gave you a bunch of other homework, and this was recorded, so you can go back and see the other things that I wanted you to do as well. But the very last task that I want you guys to do is I want you to either get a calendar, or if you can't afford a calendar, get a piece of paper, and you're going to write down numbers 1 through 365. And or if you have a calendar, from till today's date next year. And you are going to do essentially what, I don't know if you guys have seen like Andy Frisella's 75-day hard or whatever. I really want to do it. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Andy Frisella 75-day hard. But point being, we're going to do something similar. Okay, so it's going to be 365-day hard on your biz, which means there's a couple rules. Every day that you work your business, you get to cross a day off. And what I mean by working your business is by completing your 6 lists every day for 365 days. And I'm not telling you to max out and to send 300 messages. I want you to pick a bare minimum. What is your non-negotiable everyday 6 list, okay? And every day that you work your business, you are holding yourself accountable, and you're getting excited by being able to cross off that day. You don't get to cross off the day till you've completed it. If you go one single day without working your business and you don't complete your 6 list, even one thing on it, you start over. You don't get to go on to the next day. You go back to day 1 and you start over again. And I'm going to do this with you guys. So for the next 365 days, we are staying 100% consistent. And that's going to look different every day, you guys, but I'm willing to suck it up if you are, right? goes back to, are we willing to suck it up? So this has been a long Zoom. Thank you so much for staying on the whole time. I already got your points calculated and everything. Thank you for staying on here. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. But I love you, and I hope you have a good day, and let's crush the next year.